Well, good morning, everybody. It is now Wednesday, October 29th, and we've got just a few more days before my husband is home. So I'm trying to distract myself as much as possible. He'll be back on Tuesday. And one thing that he does on these kinds of business trips that I find kind of funny is he doesn't shave. And I have seen a few videos of him. He and his daughter and I keep in touch through an app called Marco Polo. And he makes these videos and he looks like the mountain man. I have to admit, my husband is quite handsome. And he's really handsome when he grows facial hair. But I don't like to kiss it. And he doesn't like to maintain it. So my guess is that when he comes home, he's going to shave it. But anyway, still got a few days to go, and I thought today I would first off say that I hope to make a music video today. The last few days I just haven't really been in the mood, and I've just sort of taken a few days. I've done more writing in the past few days, and some of it's been kind of angry. There's a lot to be angry about right now. But I haven't really felt like doing anything musical. I'm grateful for the people that have hit the latest video, which I did, Towns Van Zandt. I am familiar with his music, but for some reason I had just never bought any of his albums. And so I was happy to make that discovery the other day. I think he was very underrated. Unfortunately, he died too young. So what do I want to tell you? Well, I've been distracting myself by watching content that isn't quite so political. Because I find that I really can't stand to listen to anybody coming from the Trump regime. I can't listen to Donald Trump. I can't listen to Kristi Noem. I can't listen to Mike Johnson, especially. Any of those people I just can't stand to listen to for more than a second. And so a lot of the content creators that I normally follow, lately I've had to skip over a lot of their content because I just can't stand to listen to any of those people. I don't even care that Trump is looking like a major fool lately. He can't walk in a straight line. He can't speak coherently. He's embarrassing us on an international level. I don't want to watch that. I don't take any pleasure in watching that. I don't think it's funny. I think it's tragic and frightening. So I found myself watching other content. And lately, I want to give a shout out to a British man named Tim Lindon. He does a channel called Walk With Me Tim. And I get a big kick out of his channel because, first off, he's from Norfolk in England. And that's not too far from where I lived when I was a little kid. My dad used to be the base engineer at Mildenhall Air Force Base back in the 70s. There's even a street named after him on that base. That started out a practical joke. I think I made a video about that. But anyway, I like to listen to Tim and his wife because their accents remind me of that. Those are my earliest memories. And they also go to some very interesting places. Some places that I'll probably never go to, like for instance, Dubai. Excuse me. Dubai looks like a very interesting city. But I don't know that my husband's going to want to go there because it will probably remind him too much of Iraq. Not in terms of what it looks like, but I mean the heat, the dry, arid heat and everything. However, Tim goes and stays in these really expensive, fancy hotels, and he offers views of the city that make it look really interesting. And then sometimes he stays in cheap places too, and like, for instance, I really got a kick out of his cheap hotels or motels in Los Angeles and Las Vegas. They reminded me of going to hotels in the 80s. Some of it's pretty gross, though, because he's very obsessed about bed bugs and cleanliness. So he will go and, like, do a bed bug check. And so far, I haven't seen him find any bed bugs yet, but he's quite obsessed with it, which I think is kind of charming. He says he has a phobia of bed bugs. I have a phobia of mushrooms, so I can sort of understand that. Some people are like, "Oh, he's obsessed with bed bugs." Well, actually, that's a pretty big deal. I mean, you don't want to bring those things home. So I don't blame him for being mindful about that. As for my phobia, it developed in earnest when I lived in England, because toadstools grow really large there. And when I was very young, living in England, my parents would always tell me never touch the wild mushrooms in our backyard. And it turned into a phobia, which I still have. So I find that kind of charming about Tim. But last night I was watching his video about a really fancy London hotel called the Peninsula. And in that hotel review, he and his wife were staying with their young son. And they were looking at the desk. And he opened up this box and he was pointing out all the things that were in it, like paper clips and notepad and a pen. And he goes, and look, there's a rubber. And of course, as an American, that made me double take. Because to Americans, a rubber is something very different than it is to Brits. So that made me laugh, and it really, I just wanted to talk about that today because it was a nice reminder that there's life beyond America and life beyond American politics. I don't even live in America, and yet I'm still consuming all this political bullshit that I have no control over. So hats off to Tim Lindon for this. He's not the only one I've watched, but he's the one whose content I've been watching the most of lately, the last few days. That's probably what has kept me from making my own videos. I've also been watching a ton of old tic-tac-toe game show episodes from the 80s, which are surprisingly fun to watch. I was about 12 when these things aired. And of course, I wasn't watching them then. But what I really find fun is looking up the people that were on the show, just Googling them to see how their lives turned out. There was this one that was on tic-tac-toe. It turned out that he was a doctor for Focus on the Family, which I found kind of weird. He was a newly minted doctor when he was on tic-tac-toe, and he was a very successful contestant. And now he's retired. And then there was another one who was one of the top winners on tic-tac-toe, and he was from Florida. And I looked him up and found his mother's obituary, and it turns out that he moved to Thailand. And I just think that's kind of fun to do. Maybe it's a little bit weird and stalkerish, but it's not like I'm sending him any mail or anything. I was just curious. Charlie is upset because I'm dressed right now, and he thinks it means we're going walking now. And perhaps I should do that before I try to make another video with music in it, because he'll just bug the shit out of me. But anyway, I just wanted to pop on, let you know I'm still around. I don't think today will be a parody video, but I do think I'm going to probably make a song. So if you're interested, I hope you'll come back and check it out. Otherwise, I hope you have a nice day. 6 more days to go before the single life is over. Oh, Noisy has joined us too. Hi. Hi. These two also have kept me from getting too bored or depressed. But they want to have their walk now. So I better go. And I better schedule a dental for him because have a good day. See you later.